Is Etsy going to be the secret MVP when it comes to fighting the coronavirus epidemic? Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacob Billett. I am the CEO of Billett Enterprises, and this is a Trending Tuesday segment on my channel. If you like this content, if you like what you see, I cover multiple different topics and do multiple different services, not only for YouTube consumers, but also YouTube creators here on my channel. If you like what you see, give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel. That would be amazing. That definitely helps me out being an online content creator. And so everybody knows the COVID-19. Everybody knows the coronavirus. I've done multiple videos on the coronavirus. I'll actually link it somewhere up above me. You'll see a channel tag come up. And if you want to see more coronavirus content, you can definitely click on that. So this Trending Tuesday, we all know, again, the epidemic, the shortage of food, or perishable goods, I should say, the shortage of masks and, PPE, protective gear. And, there's actually a really interesting announcement that was done by Etsy. So if you don't know what Etsy is, I actually got the about screen here of Etsy.com, which is basically, it is a global e-commerce site for handmade custom goods. Right? So I have a lot of people, especially since I'm a business and finance channel, I have a lot of people in my community that are resellers, either on eBay or Amazon, Etsy, Bonanza, whichever. But I do have quite a few people that are just primarily Etsy. And so Etsy, again, it's more like a crafty, if you think of like Hobby Lobby kind of stuff that you can make from stuff you get from Hobby Lobby, that is what Etsy is. So Etsy actually came out with an announcement calling all of their creators, all of their sellers on the Etsy platform to dedicate themselves and their resources on producing masks, the cloth masks. And so a lot of sellers, just like with some of the big motor companies like GM and Ford, a lot of them are changing over their production lines to make ventilators and other types of systems to help with the coronavirus epidemic. Well, Etsy sellers are handling, or trying to handle at the best of their ability, the shortage of masks. And so I actually got a couple of good stories from people that have dedicated their Etsy platform, their Etsy stores, into creating masks, and it is absolutely blowing up. So a lot of you may say, well, what does this have to do with business and finance? Well, as an investor in Etsy, Etsy is going to see a good amount of volume because they're going to start having items and getting a huge amount of orders of items that they typically would not sell that are in extremely high demand. And so as an investor, Etsy may be a good stock to take a look at, because it looks like it's going to be what's called a contrarian stock, meaning that it's going to kind of go differently than what everybody else is not only doing, but what everybody expects, because they have a very unique position in the marketplace that may allow them and their company to do well, because again, as Etsy does make a commission on every sale. And so if we see a huge spike, not only with online purchases, with people being at home more with the quarantine, but now you've got a very high demand product that's kind of being sold out everywhere. Now you have people making it by hand on Etsy and getting it to the consumer. Secondly, if you do have an Etsy store, if you have the ability to make masks, if you have, the materials and the sewing system and everything you would need to do this, it would behoove you, if you're already on Etsy, or if you have the materials you want to get on Etsy. Etsy is very easy to get on, and it's free to sign up and just have a PayPal account or whichever, just like with any other e-commerce website. This could be a very, very lucrative money-making opportunity, I'll bet temporarily. This would be a really good way for you to get on, not only help fight, the shortages and helping people out with PPE, but you can also make a little bit of money while doing so. And so For me, I'm not a science guy. Oh, I'm a science guy, but I'm not like a scientist. Like I don't like understand viruses at the depth of scientists do. I actually don't really know the effectiveness of a cloth-based mask. Now, I know that a lot of people have differing opinions, so I decided in this video to show you, hey, how effective would something like this be? Because if you're a family, if you don't have masks, or if you're looking for masks, the CDC did recommend that everybody wear one when they go out of the house. I'm a rebel. I'm not doing it. I also am not going out of the house very much. Besides if I take like a walk around the neighborhood or whichever. I am a very low risk person. The only person that's really would be at any risk really would be probably my grandfather. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and show some of the benefits of wearing one of these masks. And if you are interested in signing up with Etsy or trying this out, or if you want more information, I'll leave the links down below in the description. But let's take a look at these actual face masks. And so when you look at the use, and this is from the CDC, and it says use of cloth face coverings to help slow the spread of COVID-19. And so they are saying that this right here is something that could really help the spread of COVID-19. And so I will leave a link to this as well, so you guys can go in here and read if this is something as an alternative to like the medical grade mask, I guess they are. You guys can not only understand it better, but you know that if there's shortages everywhere, you can probably go on Etsy and probably get one. So if your family's looking for masks and you can't find them in traditional business models, be it, you know, the brick and mortar or online, wherever, try Etsy. And because they are doing an initiative to get masks to people from their creators. But there's also a really interesting article when it comes to actually one of the sellers. And so this is, you know, Etsy rallies, you know, its troops to start making face masks. And so there's a lot of crafters that are reporting 12-hour days just to meet the demands of face masks. And so it's kind of a really interesting article. They're actually talking about what the CEO of Etsy actually said, especially to the United States sellers. And so, I mean, they're even saying that, you know, on the platform, you know, 10,000 sellers were actually reporting that they sold at least a single mask on their Etsy stores. And so this would be, again, a really good source. I will link this down below. If you are an Etsy seller, this could be a really good way that you could, you know, increase your sales, again, address a problem. And again, but as a business, you have to have a profit motive as well. So this can not only help you solve something, but maybe make a little bit of money because it is trending. And here is another important thing is that if you actually look at the trending keywords, people are looking for masks very heavily. There is a huge increase in web traffic for people trying to find masks. And so you've already got that demand, you've already got that online demand. And so if you, again, if you SEO, if you target your demographic, who your end users are going to be, because there is so much traffic right now, the chances of you getting more visibility, even on your website or on your Etsy or whatever, if it does relate to what is going on with the mask shortage during COVID-19, you are positioned pretty well to be able to get that visibility and maybe get yourself some sales. And this can go ahead and fund other things that you're trying to do, or if you're trying to branch out, if you take care of your customers and if you have that good customer retention, you could literally build a store on this based on how you treat people through this epidemic with your services or with your products. And so it's a really interesting article. Again, with Etsy being the type of community that it is, especially since it focuses on handmade goods so heavily, it is a way that anybody can really get in if they have the skill set or the materials to go ahead and make a product that is just in super high demand right now. And so, yeah, it's a fascinating article. I mean, you've got people that are actually bringing in family since everybody's quarantined right now, for the most part. You've got people that are bringing in family that is quarantined, bringing them together. and making an operation to address this issue. So let me know what your thoughts are. Are you an Etsy seller? Are you an online seller? Do you have the materials that you may be able to make something like this? Have you experimented with this before? Have you heard about this before? Let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to engage with you and see if this is something that either I can learn from, or if my viewers can learn from, or if you think this is a good idea or not. I mean, what do you think about the COVID-19 issue? What do you think about cloth masks? How do you feel about this entire situation? Let me know, and let's go ahead and talk about it. So again, my name is Jacob Billett. I'm the CEO of Billett Enterprises, and this is a Trending Tuesday segment on my channel. I will see you soon.